Okay, Agon Erev Yom Tov, Shalom Aleichem. Want to just share with you a few thoughts before Yom Tov to maximize the mitzvahs that we have the opportunity to perform on Yom Tov. And let's start with the proper kavanos to have when you sit in the sukkah. Now, this year, Shabbos Shuvah, we spoke about the importance of mitzvahs trichas kavana, as well as making your mitzvahs shine, upgrading your mitzvahs. So we mentioned that really, when a person is mekayim any mitzvah, there are 7 thoughts that you can have to really elevate it and make your mitzvah shine. And those 7 thoughts will definitely apply to the mitzvahs that we fulfill over Sukkahs, to sitting in the sukkah, for taking the daled minim, to Hallel. These are all mitzvahs, so one could have all these 7 kavanos. And the only thing is that for the mitzvah of sukkah, as we're going to see, there's an added kavana that will really enhance the mitzvah. So number 1, like for all mitzvahs, mitzvah sui paskin and siman samach, mitzvah strichas kavana. Therefore, before sitting in the sukkah, one should be mechavein to mekayim the mitzvah of yeshiva sukkah. Specifically, the first night, there's a mitzvah to eat a kazayis in the sukkah. It's a mitzvah chiyuvis, and therefore one should be mechavein to mekayim that important mitzvah chiyuvis of eating in the sukkah the night of Sukkos. Now, that's kavana number 1. Kavana number 2 is a critical kavana. And that is, one should sit in the sukkah and think, Laman yedu d'reisechem ki basukkah yishavti es b'nei Yisrael b'hoitzi oisam eretz Mitzrayim, in order that your generations should know that in Sukkos I situated the b'nei Yisrael when I took them out of Mitzrayim. This is not just a reason given in the Chumash, but the Poskim bring down one should have this specific kavana when sitting in the sukkah. In other words, it's not just the Torah saying that I'm giving you this mitzvah in order that you know, but this is actually a requirement to fulfill the mitzvah properly. And that is, one should think this. The Bach is of the opinion that it is ma'akev, that one is required to have this kavana. And if one does not have this kavana, there is a tzad that one will not fulfill the mitzvah. The Mishnah Berurah says one would still fulfill the mitzvah, nevertheless, l'chadchila, one certainly has to have this kavana. Some suggest, where the Bach says you need to think Laman Yedu D'Oreisechem, and the Magen Avram says that it's not critical, that maybe what they argue about is what the reason for the mitzvah of sukkah is. Is it for Anani HaKavod? And perhaps Rav Dushinsky says the Bach holds it's Zeichel Anani HaKavod, and therefore this kavana is ma'akev. And the Magen Avram perhaps holds it's Sukkos Mamish, and therefore this kavana is not critical. Be it as it may, lahalacha, l'chadchila, you certainly need to have this kavana. Laman yedu d'oreisechem ki basukos hoishavti es b'nei Yisrael. Like we mentioned, by all mitzvahs, the Chidah says, before any limud and before any learning. So at least we're having a shir, we'll have kavana to mekayim the mitzvah, the iraisa of Talmud Torah. And l'chayra, if you have that kavana in the beginning of the day, it will work for the whole day. But the Chidah says, before any learning you do, or any mitzvahs you do, it's a good idea to be maharher b'tshuva. So that's also a nice thing to do in the sukkah, as part of your upgrade of the kiyum of the mitzvah of sukkah. Then we saw there are 3 nice ingredients to put into every mitzvah, and that is to think you're doing the mitzvah out of love of Hashem, you're doing the mitzvah with Yirah Shamayim, fear. Where does fear come in? By the way, fear is also realizing and recognizing that there's reward and punishment. So a person is being mekayim the mitzvah to be able to avoid chas v'shalom oynish, but in order to get schar. Not that you're doing it for the schar, but that's part of the feeling of yira that the pasuk says, Ashrei ha'ish yareis Hashem b'mitzvayisav chafetz ma'od. And also, of course, simcha. Simcha definitely upgrades the fulfillment of the mitzvah. We learned from the Mesilas Yesharim a very high level of being mekayim a mitzvah is to do the mitzvah to bring nachas to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to give him nachas ruach. And finally, to do mitzvahs, l'toivas hadar, for the benefit of Klal Yisrael, to protect them, to give them merit. That's one of the reasons why of the Daled Minim, the Esroig, of someone who has Torah and Masim Tovim, will join together with an Arava, someone who doesn't have either, in order to bring them Zchus. So we adapted these 8 kavanos in a short tefillah that you could think, Harini Muchar Mazuman L'Kayim Mitzvah Sukkah, Ka'asher Tzivani B'Sarasecha, L'man Yedu Doiraseichem, Ki B'Sukkah Sashavti Esbnei Yisrael B'Yitzia Yisam Eretz Mitzrayim, V'hineni Shav L'Fanecha Al Kol Chatai, V'Ratzisi L'Kayim Oisa B'Ahava, B'Yura U'V'Simcha, Lasois Nachas Ruach Milfanecha, V'Shayia L'Toivas Klal Yisrael L'Zakoisam U'Lahagein Alehem. If you have even some of these kavanos, your yeshiva sukkah will be highly upgraded. And if you have all of these kavanos, then who knows, maybe we'll be zoicha to the anane akavod of the achros hayamim, where our chadash al tzion ta'ir v'nizkeh chulanu mehira la'orai. Okay, so that is segment number 1.
Recording